And he decides who we play with, even though no other rec center does that. The players decide. But I was going out with Miguel, Barb, Gary, and then I wanted to play with Miguel because I just get a weird vibe from Gary. And but then Dave said, well, Gary and Barb are dating and they'll fight if they play. So he made me play with Gary. And then I never served first, so I was at the kitchen line. Gary's at the baseline. And he kept calling the balls on the other side, in or out. And he did, I think, like 3 times. And I just turned to him and I said, can you let them make the line call? Because that's the rule. And he blew up. He started screaming at me profanities, saying I was making up. And he started approaching me, yelling at me. And I just said, well, it's the rule. And then he screamed more profanities and then stormed off, got his things, and left. And I was really shaking, but I didn't want to play. But Dave grabbed a paddle and he came out and played as my partner. And we lost because I couldn't even hit the ball. I was so scared. And then I left because I was so scared. And then the following Friday, I went to the front desk and I believe I was talking to you. Was it you I was talking to at first?
Yes.
And I gave you the rules and I was talking, and then Dave saw me and he came up and he kept interrupting me, saying those aren't the rules, even though I printed them out. They're pickleball rules. And then he kept yelling at me that I should just drop it. I should just drop it. And I kept trying to report it. He kept interrupting me. And then he was saying that, I'm not welcome there and I shouldn't come there. And then Mary called me to play. She wanted me to play with her. And so I went out on the court and I was playing. We were in the middle of the game. And then Dave was telling a big group behind me, just like 3 feet from me, pointing to me saying, she got into it with Gary. And then I turned and I said, well, he attacked me. And then Dave came out on the court screaming at me, put his fist in my face and his finger actually hit my nose. And he was screaming at me. And then I guess it was you that was walking out to pull him off? Was that?
I walked out there and I did step in between you two.
No, you didn't step in between.
Julia.
You were pulling him. And I saw you pull his arm 4 times and you were saying, Dave, 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 and pulling him. And then, it's on camera. You did not. You didn't.
I wanted to let you know too. I reviewed the camera just because I wanted to make sure. And I do apologize, but the Friday before I was not here.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't speak for that because I wasn't here. But I definitely was here that Friday, and I did, review the cameras, just to make sure. I wanted to make sure he didn't touch you, and
it felt like he touched my nose when he raised his hand to my face.
Yeah, definitely. Because we have different angles, and I did review just so I reviewed all the angles, all the cameras. I zoomed in, and yes, he definitely, he got up to you and was speaking very, very close to you, but there was definitely no touching of any sort, whether it was on the nose or any shrug or from either of you two.
Okay, well, it felt like
he
felt like he touched my nose. That's what it felt like.
And like I said, I could assure you, I did review that because I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything, or you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I just wanted to review it so I could have a better understanding, because, when you see it versus when you're in there, sometimes it's a little different. So, like I said, I could 100% assure you there was no physical touching of any sort.
Okay, well, it felt like it, but...
And I apologize if you do. Like I said, I know it kind of happened quick, and I apologize for the other situation that was going on. It was like everything kind of happened at once with the keys, and it was a lot all at once.
Yeah, but was that appropriate for Dave to come out and interrupt our game and scream at me and put his fist and finger in my face? Because he was saying,
definitely.
Okay,
I'm not condoning that. I agree with you.
Because
and that's why when I did walk over there, you know, and I got in between the two of you.
It doesn't.
And I don't
had
a conversation.
I don't.
Sorry?
I mean, we can. I put a public records request, but I don't remember you getting between us. I remember you pulling his arm and saying his name over and over.
Oh, absolutely not. I did not touch his arm. I could, like I said, we have footage of it.
Okay. I also requested it, so.
Yeah, and the way you request it, and I'm not too sure, just so you know, the police you would need to file with a police report, and they come in and they review that footage, and we can definitely share that with the police.
It's a public record. I requested it through CORA, Colorado Open Records Act. It's a public record. The taxpayers pay for that.
I'm sorry, you said it was CORA, CORA, and can you say Colorado? What was it again? I'm sorry.
Open Records Act. It's the law. Yeah, it's a law. And, you know, any taxpayer, anything, the public can request copies of any public record because we pay for that. I pay for those cameras as a taxpayer. So I can get that footage too. I'll have to
do my research on that as well.
Okay, well,
I'm not familiar with
law.
that. Maybe it's something that I don't know, and which I should.
Well,
so I'll get familiar with that.
Every state has it. It's sometimes called FOIA, Freedom of Information Acts, and Colorado it's called CORA, Colorado Open Records Act, and any public records can be requested by the public.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, definitely we would 100% comply with anything. It's just my protocol from the way it is police are the only ones. Because, you know, there's people that break in cars or want to see footage of A, B, and C, and we just can't allow that unless a police officer comes in.
Yeah, but it's you don't own that footage. The taxpayers do because we funded it. So we can request it, Yeah,
and you know, you may be right. I'm not saying, you know, it's something I'm not familiar with.
I know the law. I know it. I'm right. So, yeah, that's okay, though. I'll get it.
I'm sorry. And then, so basically you put in a request to them, and then, like, they would reach out to us. We would submit it to them. They would submit it to you?
I mean, do you have that footage? I don't know where it's stored, but yeah, the Colorado information person, security, whoever's in charge of open records would reach out to you, and then I requested it in an email, so it will be emailed to me whenever they act on that. They have within, I think, like 5 days.
I'll get with my directors and that as well, and just make sure I'm familiar with that, as well as other employees, because, like I said, from what I know, from what was told to me, was the way to get that footage was through a police report.
No. We pay for it, the taxpayers.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying, you know, that's something that I need to check on my admin side.
Yeah, no worries. And so what's going to be done, like, to keep people safe at La Familia and without bullying or... Because Dave kept saying the rules don't apply to him because he's a volunteer.
When you mean as far as, like, pickleball specific or behavioral?
No, I printed out...
What by that?
I printed out the Denver Parks and Recs Code of Conduct and the anti-bullying. And so I can read it to you, but...
No, I have that, and that's something that you as a participant signs as well when you got your membership. We have one for staff, participants, volunteers, so I am definitely familiar with it.
Yeah, bullying is prohibited in DPR centers, program and activity. Bullying is a range of unacceptable behavior that hurt, intimidate, threaten, frighten, harm, humiliate, undermine, exclude an individual group based on not limited to a person's actual or perceived race, color, national origin, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, ability, familial status, or age. Bullying includes physical acts, verbal acts, and cyberbullying. So.
Yeah. I mean, and just so you know, when it all happened, I personally walked on the court. I got in between you two. I told Dave to come behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
He came behind the counter. Him and I and Julie had a conversation about, everything that happened and what was wrong and how to fix it. And then I asked him, for the rest of the day if he can just hang out behind the counter because I know tensions were high and I didn't want anything to escalate. So which he did, so we had a conversation with him. We talked to him about it. And that's the action that we took as far as removing him. Just so, like I said, because tensions were extremely high. And I
With
didn't
Dave,
want nothing
I was
to
calm.
escalate.
Yeah, I was calm, but Dave was out of control.
I mean, I get that. And, voices were loud and it definitely was a lot going on.
Yeah,
and,
I didn't raise my voice. I didn't say anything actually to him. Except he was screaming at me. No, I wasn't yelling. I didn't scream at him or say anything. All I said was when I turned to him and said, I said, he attacked me. That's what I said. And then he came out on the court interrupting our game, put his fist and finger in my face and was screaming at me. I wasn't welcome there. I need to leave. I need to get out of there. I caused all the problems. I was in Gary's face and he was just screaming at me. I never said anything back to him. So.
Okay. So I guess moving forward, I explained to you kind of the action that Julie and I took with Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what would you like to see happening? And not saying that, we're going to make that happen. It's right or wrong, but as a customer, as a participant, what is the solution to this?
Well, I play at 5 rec centers: Athmar, Washington Park, Harvard Gulch, La Familia, MLK, and I just would like La Familia to be like the other rec centers. That's all I would like, where it's safe and fun, and there's no bullying, just like it's at the other rec centers. That's what I would like it to be.
Okay. I mean, we can have more conversations with staff. I mean, I personally am here on Fridays. I could do more continuous walkthroughs just to kind of oversee and just make sure everything's going as it should. Okay. I take pride in my recreation center, and I want to make sure that everyone, like you said, is having fun, is safe, not being bullying. And I can tell you for myself, what I can do is be more out there in walkthroughs and observe more just to make sure things are going as they should.
Right. And then, people with tempers like Gary with his temper and Dave with his temper, that's usually not a one-time thing. People that get that angry and blow up like that. So, and then you told me that he got into it with other people. That's what you told me.
No.
Yeah, you did say
did
that.
Not say anything
yes.
like that, because I know when the discussion of last Friday was going on, I specifically said I cannot speak on that, and I can guarantee you, I've been here the longest, and with the pickleball, there has never been a situation, any altercation. We haven't had any issues come up. So it's not like it's an ongoing behavioral thing, because if that were the case, believe me, it wouldn't be ongoing. We would stop it at the source. So this is the first time something like this has happened with pickleball, involving Dave, involving a customer. This is the first time, so it's definitely not been an issue prior. Now that Friday before with Gary, I mean, I can definitely get a statement from him, get his side of the story, and kind of navigate what happened and see if there's anything I can do. But unfortunately, I just was not here that Friday.
Right. Well, you could watch that video, but he's telling everyone I got in his face. And Dave started saying that too. But if you watch the camera, I'm at the kitchen line and he approaches me. I never walked back to him. And I never yelled at him.
Definitely review that.
Yeah, I didn't yell at him. Over. I talked in a calm manner, and he was the one that was screaming and yelling profanity. And it's basically because he doesn't know the rules. And Dave doesn't know the rules either. That's the problem, is that they don't know the rules. And when you try to tell them the rules, they get angry. And they say that you're...
Official rules on the chalkboard, just as, hey, it's posted right here. Yeah. I'm not making this up.
Well,
just something that everybody could reference.
Well, most people know the rules. That's the problem. If everyone knew the rules and followed them, there would never be any disagreements, arguments, or anything. If you know the rules, and pickleball has a lot of etiquette to it, a lot of politeness. You're not supposed to yell. You're not supposed to do things like that. You're supposed to introduce yourself at the beginning and tap paddles at the end. No one's supposed to yell at each other.
I understand that. And that's just a given for anybody participating inside the rec center. They need to do that. But with pickleball and the way that it is designed for our facility, it's a beginner drop-in, which means we can have anybody from a pro level to a person like me who's never played before. And if I was off the clock and I decided to drop in, I don't know pickleball. So, it may be a little frustrating for players who do know it.
No, see, you don't understand.
I don't know the rules.
Right. Well, I'm just saying.
As a community and, pickleball players, that's where communication comes in. Hey, this is, it's the rule.
Layla,
and,
it's part of the
like that, because it is drop-in,
It's the same at every rec center, Layla. It's always drop-in. You always get different levels. And in the pickleball rules, you're supposed to take new people under your wing, explain things to them. You're supposed to, not slam the ball if someone's new. That's all in the rules. And it's drop-in at all the rec centers. It's all the same at all the rec centers. I play at 5 rec centers. It's the same.
I understand.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. And then at Washington Park, they have the rules laminated and on the table.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning to you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely, have them posted. That way there's a reference point. So if there's any disagreement, hey, it's posted right there.
Well,
I'm not making this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and most people know the rules. That's why there's no conflict. It was Gary doesn't know the rules and Dave doesn't know the rules. That's where the problem comes in.
And then I think too, I'm not going to go into anyone's personal information, but there are some players who are out there who are experiencing Alzheimer's and dementia.
Right.
I'm not making no excuses, but...
No, we know who that is.
For an individual like that, it's harder for a person like you or I,
No, we accept people like that. That's Robert. He's from France, and we support him. No, see, you don't understand the pickleball community. We support players like that. No one feels frustrated or I don't want to play with that. No, that's not part of the pickleball community. We support each other. We support Robert has Alzheimer's. Betsy, his wife, talks to us about it, and we all know. And we all support him. We play with him. We tell him where to stand. We tell him the score. We help people. That's the way it is in pickleball.
And that should just be in general, right? We gotta respect each other.
It's in pickleball to do that. So it's in the etiquette. There's a lot of rules and different things, but it's basic rules, and you let the other side make the line calls. You know, you call the score before you serve. You have to know how to score and where to stand. But we help everyone if they don't know. But the problem is when people don't know and you gently remind them of the rules, and then they get because they don't know the rules. If everyone knew and followed the rules, there'd be no problems. Okay, I got to hit the road, so I hope that things improve. I'm going to try to play there tomorrow. I hope that Dave doesn't attack me again. We'll just hope for the best.
Yeah, nothing like that is going to happen.
Okay, I hope so.
We don't condone attacking, and everybody, is going to, I'm going to pay special attention specifically to pickleball to make sure that nobody feels any sort of way.
Okay, well, Rachel,
everyone's safe.
Well, Rachel told me that she feels mistreated by Dave as well. She's a younger woman, so.
And unless they come to me and address me, and say what's going on, it's hearsay. So if somebody, I would just ask that you encourage them to speak to me directly. That way, I can, do something about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.